Hi there, Placer County Supervisor Kirk Euler here to chat with you a little bit today about the Sacramento Bee identifying me, I guess, as the most dangerous man in California because I have the audacity to question our governor's continuing lockdown order. So the Bee took to the editorial pages. Their editorial review board decided to print Placer County official must fight COVID-19 instead of suing Gavin Newsom over shutdown, because evidently you can't do both at the same time. They write, a ridiculous waste of time and resources. That's what Placer County residents will see if one county official follows through on his threat to sue Governor Gavin Newsom over California's coronavirus shutdown. Quoting me from a story they did last Thursday, if we don't see any action, we may be calling a special meeting to seek legal injunction. Placer County Board Chairman Kirk Euler told the Sacramento Bee on Thursday. Well, first, far be it from me to correct one of the premier news outlets in California, but I haven't been chairman of the Board of Supervisors since last December. But why would we expect a news outlet to understand that? We'll move on. They go on to write, Euler is understandably frustrated because Placer does not yet meet the standards required to reopen most businesses in the county. The state's requirements include hiring a certain number of contact tracers and ramping up testing capacity to a daily minimum of 600. But Euler's argument lacks legal merit. I'm sorry, what argument of mine? You quoted me, identified me incorrectly, and quoted me from last Thursday. You didn't actually make my argument, did you? The argument that I made in the board chambers and have made subsequent. We'll get back to that. But Euler's argument lacks legal merit. The Supreme Court has repeatedly upheld the constitutional authority of state governors to protect public health. Some people may disagree with Newsom's decision, but he's on solid legal ground. Okay, I never questioned whether or not Newsom had the legal authority to issue a state of emergency. In fact, in the board meeting, I identified that at the time, early in March, not only did Newsom clearly have the authority, but we in Placer County were in agreement with that because we were worried that the healthcare system was going to be overwhelmed. As a matter of fact, in Newsom's own declaration, that is what Newsom cited. Newsom specifically cited the concern that our healthcare system was going to be overwhelmed. And Newsom specifically cited in his declaration of the state of emergency that this emergency was likely to outstrip, outlast, overrun any locality's ability to deal with this emergency, hence the state of emergency. Now, what is Euler's legal reasoning on this? Well, it's the law. You see, in Newsom's own declaration, he cites in the last whereas, second to last whereas, before he declares the state of emergency, he writes, under the provisions of Government Code Section 8625C, I find that local authority is inadequate to cope with the threat posed by COVID-19. Why is that language important? Well, you see, the law requires two standards be met before the governor can declare a state of emergency. Standard number one is he can only declare a state of emergency if the situation, in this case an epidemic, is currently or is likely to outstrip the capacity of a locality. And then it goes on to require in, again, section 8625, he finds that local authority is inadequate to cope with the emergency. Must meet both findings. That local authority is inadequate to cope with the emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm having this little chat with you, we have 9 people in Placer County hospitalized with this disease. 9. A county of 400,000 people. Our 2 major hospitals, Kaiser and Sutter, combined have staffed bed capacity of 668 beds. We have 9 people with this virus in our county. It doesn't meet the threshold required by law. My legal reasoning has been all along consistent. State law requires that the governor, again, reading from the state law, the governor shall proclaim the termination of a state of emergency at the earliest possible date that conditions warrant. Shall declare an end, earliest possible date, conditions warrant. 9 people in our hospitals. Hospitals have a capacity of 668. This is not a state of emergency. This is a state of Newsom-imposed tyranny. That's what we're dealing with now. So, Sacramento Bee, you want to call me out for my lack of legal reasoning? How about y'all do a little research? I know that's a lot to expect from a news organization, but do a little research next time before you come at me. So stay tuned, because tomorrow's episode is going to include a letter I received from the director of the State Office of Emergency Services, in which he's threatening to pull Placer County's emergency funding because he's really grumpy that I'm questioning the governor's authority. So we'll chat more tomorrow.